14 starts with, in the previous episode, Impmon said he was gonna kill Calamon and load his data, and then 14 starts with Impmon chasing Calamon through the streets.
Yeah, like he's about to shoot him, and then stuff starts happening, and he's like, what the crap?
Yeah. Also, Terriermon's going all nutty and, like, jumping at the window.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because that, like, Guillamon and Renamon aren't getting, like, aren't going weirdly feral.
Yeah, it's very odd.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah, good image. So, yeah, the process is clearly extremely painful, because you can hear the screams of all the Digimon getting sucked into this thing, and it's horrifying.
Yeah. And
even the people who work at Hypno stink so, because one like takes off her headset terrified.
Yeah. Well, if I can't hear them, then it's fine, right?
It reminds me of there's a scene in Pokemon X and Y where the bad guy turns on the ultimate weapon and it starts killing Pokemon in the area. And you're locked into this one town, and if you try to leave and talk to like one of the Team Flare guys at the edge of town, they're like, you don't want to go out there, it's horrifying. Like, it's a very similar situation where it's like, I hate this, I can't stand this is awful.
Yeah, you don't even want to try, man.
You need to stay here, you don't want to see what's happening out there.
Nah, like, take our advice, kid. There's some real shit going on.
Meanwhile, Digimon, years earlier, shows more than Pokemon dared, where it's just the Digimon are being disintegrated and sucked into a black hole.
Yeah, it's data, you know? Like, if you rip, like, an effing Charizard apart, then, like, that's not gonna be as PG.
Well, so, I don't think the Pokemon are being, like, eviscerated or anything, but I feel like their life force is getting sucked out of them, so they're probably turning into not, like, it probably isn't a pleasant sight.
Yeah. I do want to quickly point out that the Pokemon manga does have scenes of Pokemon just getting murdered.
Oh yeah, that's as early as the Red and Blue, where an Arbok gets slashed in half.
Yeah, and he's just effing dead.
Yeah, the Pokemon manga is brutal.
Still going, you know.
Yep. So yeah, they turn on Shagai and start sucking in the Digimon, and Yamaki's just outside watching it like, haha, my plan is working.
Yeah, and then turns out his plan's totally not working, actually.
Yeah.
Because the data flow begins to reverse.
There's a very large, very dangerous Digimon whose voice rings out, and it's like, haha, they opened a portal so now we can come through. And Yamaki's like, oh my god, I'm an idiot.
He's like, oh no, what have I done? I have to find a child to beat up to make myself feel better.
I think Yamaki's like, I don't know, it's just his reaction. It's like, I opened a portal to let them through, and then he starts staggering off, like, in disbelief.
It's like, oh my god, I can't believe I did this. You small child, this is your fault.
Yeah, so then we get this scene where he's just holding up Henry by the scruff of his collar, and he's like, he has the audacity to blame them for this.
Yeah, like, I believe his exact phrasing is like, this is your fault.
He said, yeah. He claims that this is their fault, somehow.
And he's like, you with your, like, Digimon that you did put away, and not me, the guy who turned on the dimension warping machine and let this happen.
It's not I who chose to play God, it's your fault.
You think you can play God with the lives of others, Henry? Will your thirst for violence know no bounds?
I will say I'm kind of disappointed that Terriermon didn't like headbutt Yamaki.
Oh, that would have been good.
Because it's like, Terriermon, why are you just watching this? Your tamer's in danger. Smack this guy.
Yeah, he just like smacks him with his ear. He's like, yeah, I didn't lay a hand on him.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't a hand. Yeah, so
good. Sorry, this is completely unrelated. I just got a text message from my healthcare place, and they're like, "Doctors say a flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu."
Is it Dr. Stone?
No, the doctors. Anyways, so yeah,
I'm actually kind of surprised because I don't think Jump has actually like done anything with that yet. Like, yeah, they should be like putting out a thing that's like, oh yeah, Dr. Stone says like avoid the corona or something, because they have a character who's a doctor. That'd be such good publicity.
I can't believe it. Now they're advertising this bullcrap by changing up letters. Like, I'm not gonna know what they're saying. I guess it's to avoid like an automated system. You could probably you could probably filter out these messages, and so they're replacing letters. Anyways, whatever. I banned them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's fine. Bots be bots.
They're not worth our time.
Bots are gonna bot.
Yeah. So, Yamaki screwed up royally and let a strong Digimon in.
Yeah. Well, I think the voice even, like, says they are God or something.
They said we follow our one God, or whatever.
Yeah, so, like, point is, big boys are coming through.
Yeah. One in particular, well, multiple came through, but for now we're just dealing with one of them.
Yeah.
And it's, I forget what it's called, but it's a tiger that can turn its tail into, like, nunchucks.
Yes, it's a freaking, like, winged tiger with, like, armor that has a nunchuck tail.
Which is, like, as far as, like, a show or, like, whatever, a piece of media showing a way to make a tail attack strong, you just turn it into a weapon.
Yeah.
He just turns it into a giant set of nunchucks. He just cracks it into Cubimon and takes her out in one hit.
Yeah. So, like, Cubimon just fights this thing. I should probably mention, like... Yeah, because Takao just, like, throws Rika, like, a card, and he's like, oh yeah, it's like an evolution phase card. We should try this.
Right, yeah. Takao figured out, like, oh yeah, there are evolution cards we can just use.
Yeah. I'm honestly kind of surprised Rika didn't think of that for so long, but yo, whatever, like, benefit of the doubt,
Yeah.
maybe the form wasn't unlocked yet.
I don't know. It does seem weird because Rika's supposed to be, like, the card game, like, expert.
But yeah, like, super hand-wavy exclamation of like, okay, yeah, we have, like, cards so we don't need Calamon every single time we fight something.
We don't need to hope that the Digivice will work with us here.
Yeah, we can kind of make this happen now, and you know what? Fair enough. Like, it's about time for it.
So Cubimon gets knocked off the building. Then Gargamon goes in, and Gargamon doesn't bother trying to catch Cubimon. That'd be too... Or no, she de-digivolves to Renamon. Either way...
I do want to mention, there is, like, one random shot of Cubimon after she gets hit, and as you can see in the image, the fur texture is just gone for some reason. It looks so weird, they just screwed up the animation.
I mean, you're probably not supposed to look at it for too long.
I know, it was on screen for a good few seconds.
I don't know. Like you're probably just not supposed to pay attention.
Yeah.
Also,
Sorry.
Also, when this aired, resolutions on TVs wasn't great.
I know, that seems pretty striking, like... Because it's, like, yellow instead of white. Like, I have to assume what happened is that, like, whoever was coloring the scenes somehow thought was Renamon, so they just colored it like Renamon.
I don't know. I didn't notice anything until you pointed it out, so.
But yeah.
Gargamon shoots the ground and launches himself to the top of a building. I guess he can do that.
Yeah, he uses Dum Dum Upper, which just blasts him up into the sky.
And then he just goes on top of the building and just starts shooting at this enemy Digimon.
Yeah, and like we quickly kind of figure out that it's like, okay, yeah, like it's a very evasive fighter, like that's his whole thing. He stalks around, he like just floats around and like keeps his distance, and then when he sees an opening, he goes for it. So he actively,
He waits for Gargamon to waste all of his ammo because Gargamon's shooting like an idiot.
And he just runs out of bullets, which is like a thing that can just happen.
Yeah, well, I think it happened before, and Henry had to use like a reload card or something.
I don't think we've seen it yet, but maybe.
Maybe it happens later.
But yeah, he just runs out and he like doesn't use the ammo belt on his chest. He just starts clicking his guns, just like, oh, that's weird. And he just takes a tail to the face.
Let's be real, the ammo belt's probably cosmetic.
Yeah, it'd be cool if it wasn't, though.
Yeah, but I don't think he can load it into his hand and use the ammo off of it.
It's just like that shot from, like, the, like, Ruby Yellow trailer where it's like, just, like, click all your, like, rounds off your arms, then just, like, shove the belt onto the raw thing and it just clicks into place. It's such a cool shot. And they never do that again.
Yeah, Gargamon's down. Gargamon/Terriermon's down. And so,
now it's Growlmon's turn.
Yeah.
And Dethhollow is... Yeah, Dethhollow's rightfully terrified because Growlmon gets a good hit off and then immediately starts losing.
Yeah, Growlmon, he digivolves to Growlmon and then he sprouts wings, but Dethhollow never used that card anyways.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, he needed a way to get on top of the building.
Yeah, I do like this little, like, attention to detail, because it's like, when Calamon was evolving them, they couldn't use cards in their champion forms. Because, like, the Digivice wasn't pushing them to that form, like, it was kind of like, it was, but it was like, like, they're getting the boost from elsewhere, so it was like, messed with the card reader and the, they couldn't, like, track them or whatever.
Yeah, I guess they never did use cards on their champion forms. Yeah,
but now that they just do it with the cards, like, it works out right, and, they can, like, actually keep track of them and stuff as normal. So, of course, now they can also use cards on champions.
Yeah.
And I imagine, like, whatever they use to, like, ultimates regularly is gonna be, like, a bit different to kind of keep that going and stuff like that.
Spoilers, we see how they get their ultimate forms. But yeah, this Tiger Digimon bites into Growlmon, and Dethhollow can feel it.
Yeah. Like, straight up, he's like, oh no, Growlmon!
So, I kinda like this idea, because if, in, like, later Digimon stuff, like, with, not even just like the 2020 reboot, I'm pretty sure there are earlier series where the kids fight alongside their partner.
Yeah.
But I like this idea where if they're not going to be able to fight with their partner, the stakes are kind of higher because they're like linked.
Yeah. It's weird, but it's really cool.
Yeah, and then their mega forms are like the logical conclusion to that idea.
Yeah.
No spoilers. I mean, you already know, but...
Yeah. This kind of feels like, it's like this weird thing they're doing where it's like, Season 1, it's like the Tamers were just there to, like, give you evolutions, it's like, it was kind of like working more on like, emotional logic or whatever. It's like, it doesn't matter that like Ty's not really doing anything because he's just like, cheering Wargreymon on. And, he's like punching the other tamer as they have their fight and stuff,
Yeah, they have their emotions power their partners and whatnot.
Yeah, and in like the second series, it was more like, like, it's still basically that, where the tamers are kind of superfluous outside of the actual evolution, but there's that little throwaway thing of like, oh yeah, when you fuse, like, your hearts actually, like, connect or something, and, you can, like, feel the other person, it's like, okay, it's like, there's a bit more to this, like, the actual people are at least being affected by this process, basically.
Yeah. And then Tamers is like, you fight with your Digimon, you feel their pain.
It's like, have you ever heard of the effing, like, gym in Pokemon in, like, the anime? Where it's like, oh yeah, when your Pokemon takes damage, you feel their pain. And Ash is like, oh, this is terrible. Like, he's struggling just to hang in there.
Takado's like, screw that, I need more power.
Yeah, he's like, like, well, yeah, I guess I'm gonna bet how I sub, so it's like, he goes into a weird, like, space where I can see Growlmon, and, like, Growlmon's like, oh hey, Takado, let me fight! And he's like, has this big moment of, like, character development.
It's kind of weird because Dream Growlmon doesn't sound like the Growlmon we know. Like the way he speaks and kind of his voice too. It sounds weird.
Yeah. Also, half his body is missing in the dream state.
Yeah.
Because he's dying.
He totally is. Before we cut back to Growlmon, when we cut back to Growlmon, he's disintegrating.
Yeah, like, he's barely holding his data together, basically. Which is nuts when you think about it.
Yeah. So yeah, Takado's like, yeah, we gotta fight. I don't want to be afraid anymore. I trust you, and like all this stuff. And then, and then Takado wakes up.
Yeah, he wakes up and, like, he's, like, grabbing Calmon's hand, and Calmon's like, yeah, alright. And
Alright,
suddenly he just has the blue card.
Yeah, so that's the tool for ultimate form.
Okay, yeah. Like, what's kind of confusing me is, like, I'm not sure if he has that on him, or if they have to, like, find it again for real or whatever, because it seems like it might be gone.
The blue card materializes when it's needed.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
And usually it's like one of the cards they're holding turns into it or something.
Okay, yeah, that works. So it's like, it's not something you just do whenever, it's like, you have to, like, be in the right mindset to, like, materialize this, basically.
Yeah, and it's also actually dependent on Kalumon.
Yes.
They figured out a way to go to champion without the need of Kalumon's help, but ultimate form does require Kalumon's help.
And that does lead to us finally getting the introduction of War Growlmon.
Or Megalo Growlmon.
And oh my god, the CG on this.
It looks better in motion.
Does
like,
it?
Yeah, because like you paused on this one like part of it, and yeah, that looks really bad just sitting there. The CG's not amazing, but it looks better when it's moving.
Like, I'm probably sound like the biggest hypocrite for this, but it's like, for some reason, even though it's probably like lore resolution or whatever, like, the CG in seasons 1 and 2 kind of looked better. I think it's because it's like less glossy, but yeah, like, I don't know, I kind of like the look of that, but this feels very weird.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm looking at the scene right now, and it like you've got it paused on this one shot of him. When he finishes evolving, it cuts away from it immediately. It's not meant to be looked at for very long.
Yeah, oh yeah, like, this is like, this shot, like, the light behind him, and it looks terrible. And I picked it because I wanted to show how bad it looks. But it's like, even when it's like first forming and stuff, it's like, eh. It's like in that weird in-between state where it's like, it's not that detailed, but it's trying to be like higher res, I think. Ah, no, it's very odd looking.
It's early 2000s CG. Like, there's only so much they could do at
like,
the time.
It's like, it's not quite video gamey, but it's also not quite there yet either, if that makes sense.
This probably looks a little better than video game CG at the time, because this is like one animation where he just kind of moves around his arms and legs, his tail or whatever, and he doesn't really do much. It just kind of show off so they could spend more money on it, and then they'll just reuse it. Like, this probably looks better than CG from like PlayStation games at the time.
It probably looks like better than Beast Wars, I'd assume.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because my memory of that is not like, I don't remember the story or the characters or anything. I just remember how it looked. I remember seeing that and being like, okay, well, I don't really want to watch this then.
All I remember is that Beast Wars and Reboot are ugly as crap.
Come at us, Beast Wars fans. Just like super out of context, just like, clip this individual like sentence of like, oh yeah, Beast Wars sucks though, and just send it to someone who likes Beast Wars.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about the show. Maybe the story's good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I just think it doesn't look good.
Yeah. Yeah, so War Grandma just shows up, and he, like, the CG is wonky, and he looks really weird design-wise.
But it looks fine animated.
Yeah, like, I'm not a fan of the design, but at least the actual animation looks good.
Yeah, I think he's kind of dopey looking. Like, he just... His arms are gone. Like, he has robot arms now.
Yeah.
And then they're scrawny compared to his bulky upper half, and it's...
Like, I'm really not sure what they're going for with, like, War Growlmon, because, like, honestly, like, the whole, like... Okay, so here's the thing, right? War Growlmon's arms look really cool. Why didn't you just add blades to the sides instead of, like, chopping them off?
Wait, what?
Like, if he just had, like, Growlmon's normal arms... Sorry, did I say War Growlmon's?
No, okay, I get what you mean. I was just confused. You mean, like, keep his normal-looking dinosaur arms, but then give him, like, these metal arm parts.
Yeah, like, make him, like, a bit more, like, jagged or angular or whatever as, like, the big arm blades, and then you can, like, still have that, like, wide stance, but, it'd be, like, more armored than anything else.
Yeah, and his arm blades are an evolution to the Growlmon arm blades.
Yeah,
now they're big metal axes.
Yeah, that's kind of cool at least, but it's like, I don't like that they're like weird axes,
I think it's
And,
fine. Maybe if they're a little... Yeah, I don't know. They could be designed better.
I feel like if they're more like curved blades, like, like a scimitar blade or something, then that would read way better, because it would, like, be like a callback to his normal arm blades.
Yeah. I don't know it would look good, but
And all of this is just weird.
I'm not a huge fan of Wargroundmon.
Yeah, like, I don't know, if you're going for, like, machine Digimon, then I feel like making them look more boxy makes them look, like, more believable, right? Like, it makes them look like, more, like, practical and, like, more, like, mechanical, really. So just tying these weird, like, circular, like, metal arm bits at the end is just really odd.
I think if his torso, like, his chest and his torso in general was a little sleeker, and, like...
yeah,
it's hard. Like I can see it in my head. It's hard to explain.
Like at the end of the day, what we're basically doing is we're trying to reinvent a like cyborg dinosaur of like ultimate evolution, and like I should probably like we're not going to come up with anything as good as like Rise Greymon. Because, like, if he has had an arm that was just a big sword, then that would be, like, really cool.
Yeah, I feel like if you cut off the boxy parts of his torso, or slimmed him down a little bit, and then bulk up his actual arms a bit, and maybe make them, like, red, like his body.
Yeah,
like, maybe he did get robotic arms regardless, but they stay the color of his skin, so it kind of blends in with the design more.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking right now? Like, what might be really cool? Instead of having the robotic upper half, make a robot lower half, and that way you could go more of like an upright posture, and it's like, an in-between between this and Gallonmon, or like, Growlmon, Gallonmon maybe. And you could, like, give him, like, armored arms and, like, all that stuff, and it would work really well, I think. Maybe, like, give him a bit of, like, a chest plate that has, like, the laser cannons installed in him, make it look kind of, like, rough, maybe some pipes sticking out, maybe. Like...
I'm more of a fan of the robotic upper half. It's just I wish it looked better.
Yeah. And, like, he looks like a square, It's a very square-shaped Digimon.
Well, his top half is just a square.
And, it's very weird. I have to imagine, like, the logic cap was that it's like, he has to be the big one, so they just made him really wide. And, like, you go over to Rapidmon, he's like more of a circular cap design that's like, more like rounded instead of square-like, and like, like effing Talmon's like more of a triangle pointed design.
Yeah, the theme is that most 2 out of 3 of their ultimate forms look bad. I think Rapidmon doesn't look good. I don't think Wargroundmon looks good either. I like Talmon. Talmon works.
I think Rapidmon looks better than Wargroundmon.
Yeah, but I still don't think he looks good. Like, he's just a ball.
Yeah.
Like, Wargroundmon's a square.
Rapidmon's a ball. Talmon's like a triangle.
Talmon makes sense.
But yeah, so Warground comes out and just blows up the Tiger Digimon. What's his face? I'm not gonna remember his name. They say it once and that's it.
Yeah, I forgot what its name was.
Yeah,
there's also a scene where Wargroundmon's like blocking the hits from the Tiger Digimon, and it shows Takato on the ground like mimicking the moves of Growlmon, like getting hit.
Yeah, and he's like, I feel your pain, but we're in this together, basically. And he takes a step forward, and it's really cool.
He takes a step forward, and so does Wargroundmon.
Yeah!
Like, Takato's not controlling Wargroundmon, but they're, like, super in sync.
Yeah, it's more symbolic than anything. Yeah, so just blows up. Like, I should probably mention that, like, this tiger's been taking effing, like, helicopter gunfire.
Oh yeah, he wipes out the helicopters. He's like, whatever, man.
Yeah, so this is pretty, like, crazy. But yeah, like, yeah, essentially end of episode.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about Ultimates being a thing this early?
It's fine. I just want to say that Takado's quote-unquote friends are all of a sudden, yeah, look at the Digimon, they're super cool. But previously they ran away from the slight hint that Guillemon might be real, and then they suddenly distanced themselves from Takado for some reason.
Yeah.
But then War Growlmon shows up and he's a big hero, and they're like, oh yeah, that's our friend's Digimon.
Oh, he's so badass though.
Kazu and Kenta, you guys suck.
You know, I did like the way Guillemon looked before, but now that he's War Growlmon, he looks so much better.
Yeah. I don't know, it kind of actually rubbed me the wrong way. It's like Kenta, you're a little douchebag, aren't you?
Yeah, Kenta. More like...
Kazu? Kazu's the one with the visor. Kenta's the glasses.
Kazu. More like Be-Gonzu.
Yeah. So anyways, everybody loves War Growlmon all of a sudden. Also, there's no hiding this. Everybody knows Digimon are real at this point.
Yeah, there's like a giant like scar in the sky from it.
Well, not only that, War Growlmon lands in front of a gigantic crowd of onlookers.
Yeah. I guess it don't matter because Hypnos already knows about them, but still. That fog did not cover their tracks for very long.
Yeah, well, War Growlmon's gigantic. But yeah, as far as Ultimates coming along this early, I'm fine with it. As long as they use it well.
Yeah,
because I know it's coming up, and it's a bunch of Ultimate level Digimon.
Yeah. And I feel like I'll have to see, because, like, the idea seems to be it's like, you know, you aren't guaranteed an Ultimate, and, like, you know, maybe they'll still have to fight with champions. But if it's like, you know, if, like, after next episode, the next couple episodes are just like, you know, oh, we just have Ultimates whenever now, then, like, that's gonna feel a bit lame, because we barely spent any time with, like, you know, the champion forms, it feels like. Like, Growlmon has had one fight so far, and then he transformed.
So here's the thing, Digimon's pretty consistently been like, okay, you got your new form, but let's fight as champions. Like,
yeah.
It's kind of a common problem in the reboot.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, they're fighting, well, okay. No spoilers, this is something you know is gonna happen anyways. They're fighting Devimon, and they're already in their ultimate forms.
But they still have to fight Devimon's champions because nostalgia, right?
No, they're fighting Devimon as their ultimate forms. And they're losing.
Crap.
There's a reason. There's a good reason.
Yeah, that's weird.
Devimon's wrecking them 2-1.
Man, I feel like it feels weird because Devimon's like the first villain they have. Like, he's the first big antagonist of the series, of like the franchise, really.
Yep.
And like, you know, because of that, they keep bringing him back and trying to make him out to be a big deal, but like, he's just a random champion dude. Like, he was never that powerful or special.
Well, this is the reboot, so of course Devimon's gonna be their first opponent.
By the time they're ultimates.
Yeah. And Devimon, he's beating them because of something we've seen that's been set up already.
You mean the Black Gears?
No, there are no Black Gears.
Oh man, I had to like catch up with the reboot or whatever, cause like, I don't know. I should probably just watch a bunch of episodes and we'll just have a big talk about it or something. We'll just make a special for it. Because I feel like, not a lot of plots are going to really happen, but like I'll probably have a lot to say with like, how it's paced and how it handles things.
Yeah, I will say there's like a series of episodes where everybody gets their ultimates and then some plot stuff happens and then whatever. It is set up in a way where we could talk about a bunch of episodes all at once and we wouldn't really miss out on too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally be down for that because I'm tired of tiptoeing around like like cool stuff they've done with the new series.
Yeah. So are we ready to move on to episode 15?
Yeah, not a lot happened.